This is going to be an interesting video, a little bit sombering as well, because a question came up in Last Ask the Cars by a member, Maria. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I really do. But because of the nature of this question, I decided to do a video because it kind of hit close home to me as well. And the question is what's it going to take for Americans to stand up with everything that's going on? What's it going to take for them to finally say enough is enough? We're done. Because when you look at the world today and you scroll through the feeds, like for example, BlackRock CEO, who is he? He's a nobody, but yet he's telling us that in order for AI centers, surveillance centers, and power grids to be put in place, that they're going to take away ordinary people's saving and pension funds, and that it's mandatory. Really? Is that enough for you to stand up? Because apparently not. You're still not angry enough because they're going to do it. Or how about like how Lindsey Graham's sister, who has zero experience in office, will serve the rest of his Senate term? Really? Is that how it works now? Is that? Of course, they can probably have rules in the book to allow it, but that's my point though. Where's the outcry on this? Why are we allowing a person with no experience to sit on a seat, has no clue, not an inkling of it? Mad yet? Apparently not. Nobody's saying anything. Or how about the fact they had cures for cancer? And during the COVID times, they made it sound like these things that were used to heal didn't work, and they knew it worked. And so a lot of people passed over the years, not just during that period, but for a very long time. They passed and they didn't have to. It was all about money, wasn't it? You angry yet? Is that enough? Nope, probably not, because we're still doing it. How about flock cameras, where it's going to be surveillance now? Everything you do, they're going to track and trace it. It's called geotracking, geofencing. And that's what the AI centers are for. A long time ago, I was working on a project, and some high ranking official asked me, well, what's it going to take to do surveillance at scale? I said, well, this was a long time ago. I said, you need to have millisecond response times, low latency, and you need to have at a price point that's affordable. What do you think 5G is for? 6G is for? It's not for your phones. What do you think data centers are being strategically placed in different locations? It's not for your phones. It's not for the cloud. It's not for Meta or anything else. It's to track you. Angry yet? Apparently not. Still doing it. Even the fact they're ignoring you and nothing. You're still not angry enough. So what's it going to really take for the American people to say, you know what? We've had enough. We're done. It's time to stand up. So I decided to pull a Celtic Cross. I'm using a brand new deck that I've never used before. A friend of mine over at Martin, hey friend. Thank you for the recommendation on the deck, because I looked through it and it's really cool. First time I've even seen it was tonight. And I said, you know what? I'm doing the reading with this deck tonight on this question. And the deck, in case anybody's wondering out there, is called the New Era Elements Tarot. And I'd recommend you get it for if you like doing kind of cultural type of reads. Okay, so again, to my member, Maria, thank you so much. I really appreciate it, because without you and, giving us your thoughts, then there's no community. So thank you for helping me build this community with your question. Okay, so let's go and kick this off with the Celtic Cross. And the way it's going to work is in the first middle position here is kind of like the theme, the situation of why, or what's it going to take to kick the Americans off to say, I had enough, we're going to do something. What's it going to take to make them do something? And then this is kind of like the obstacle. And this is more like about like what they need to, what brought them here and potential outcomes, and then like what's kind of known and what's in the shadows, and you go up to staff. But we'll get to that as we move through the reading. So I'm going to turn the camera off and just go to the desk here, and we'll get into this reading right now. Give me 1 second. Okay, so what's the current situation? Bravery. It takes bravery to stop what's going on in this country. It takes a lot of bravery for people to stand up to say, I had enough. And this card represents it very clear. This is fire, the fire element. And look at the firefighter trying to put the fire up, because our people we entrusted are basically scorch earth on us. They're bringing everything down to the ground, food supply chain, and we're still not standing up. Medical, we're still not standing up. housing issues, we're still not standing up because we don't have the bravery we need. And that's what's required is that for things to change, Americans, the citizens of the nation have to have bravery. And that's a 7. You have to really think about that. What does that mean? Well, it means you can't rely on anybody else. You got to rely on you, the collective. Every person has to come together. And what are the obstacles is they don't want to because they're happy. They're content. They're complacent. Because to them, everything is just great. Even though they know it's not, they act like it is. Because we keep being diluted with all these issues that are thrown to our face day after day. And so we don't want to be brave. We want just things to be the way they always were and go back the way they were. It ain't going to happen because they're making sure that they're going to burn it to the ground. But you have to be the ones, the people have to be the ones that put the fire out. But as long as you sit there and think that everything is happy, water, the blaze will continue. But it takes the water to douse the flames. And what does that mean? Well, that means that's a 13. 7 plus 6 is a 13. You need to be the emperor, the 4 energy. You need to be the stability in this country because your leaders are not. They did everything in their power to bring the demise of this nation. It's up to the people to come together to fix it, to stabilize the problem. 1 energy and the 3 energy. 1 is a new way of doing things. How's that? You break down the barriers between left, right, center, because there's no more left and right in politics. But unfortunately, people are divided. They don't realize that it's really one party. They're playing everybody against everybody else. That's the oligarchs. The 3 is we have to communicate, not fight, not quarrel, not be in each other's faces, but communicate to find ways, creative ways to stop this destruction. We need to be brave so that we can be happy. But if we continue to think about we want things to be the way they were and not stand up for anything, then this is a delusion because that's the obstacle. Okay? That's the obstacle. Are you ready to stand? What's it going to take? It's going to take bravery and realizing that things are not okay. Things are not happy. Because that's an illusion. That's your obstacle right now. That's what's causing Americans to allow this to continue. And so then we want to look at what brought us here. The levers. We have this idea of what America is or what America was. And because of that, we put our guard down. We allowed those who we entrusted to do what they wanted because we trusted them. We thought everything is fine. The lovers. We believed what they said was true. We wanted to unite with the party, and yet the party wasn't really in love with us. They were in love with the oligarchs, with the monopolies, with the corporations, social capitalism, I call it. What does that mean, Kev? Well, a corporation is not capitalism, it's socialism, but it's corporate capitalism, or you say corporate socialism. Today in America, we're a fascist state, we're a fascist country, because the government is ruled by the corporation. That's the oligarchs. True capitalism, we haven't seen it in years. I would say probably the last taste of it was back in the 70s when the mom and pop shops were okay, but then the Walmarts came and shut them down. They were allowed to shut them down because they weren't important no more. The corporations took over. That's not capitalism. That's not free market. Then what happens after that during the COVID era? The Amazons and the Walmarts wiped out the small business because the government forced small businesses down but allowed the corporations to rule. The oligarchs, the trillionaires. But then America had this idea that everything is wonderful. We're all coming together. When we're not, we're broken. But that's what brought us here. This illusion of happiness. We don't even have it. So that kind of helped us create this obstacle to take away our will to fight. We don't have the bravery because it died a long time ago. We were dumbed down, right? Idiosyncrasies. Then when you consider all of that, we want to look at maybe the potential outcome or things we did to cause it. And the Hermit, we didn't reflect on what was going on. We also lost what our country was about. The Hermit is, I'm kind of reading this as kind of like an elder. You know, I'm kind of seeing an elder in a church. I'm not getting into religion here, but kind of that fabric, right? Where America was founded on certain principles, certain guidelines, and those guidelines were erased, and we forgot that. So because we turned our back on being there for one another and going to isolation, we let everything kind of collapse around us because we forgot how to rely on ourselves. We became a hermit within our own communities. And when you think about, too, the whole thing with the COVID thing, they forced people into isolation, the hermit. The government did that. That was all part of the plan. They needed people to feel like they had no outreach. They even shut down the churches. And then the people let that happen. They even shut down the pubs, and the people let that happen. They kept them isolated. And why is it important for a pub? Because in the early days during the revolution, pubs were used as meeting places to commune with one another, communicate with one another, to plan. And the people in charge know that. They know history very well. So they made sure they blocked every angle for the people to communicate, and they made everybody a hermit. Blind, decrepit, and no will to move on. They made you feel like an old man in a young body, right? They destroyed your will. And it impacted the soul of almost every single person because they were inundating you with everything, unaliving your family members, not allowing you to go visit them in the hospitals. How sick is that? How evil is that? But we allowed it. We allowed it because we had this belief everything would be okay, and we didn't want to let go of it. Even though we had to be brave, we didn't fight the fire. We let the fire consume us, and then the outcome was that we became these hermits, isolated, closed off from the world, right? And it's sad, so many people were hurt, and there's no accountability. None at all. So what's it going to take? You got to be brave. It's time to break the isolation. So this outcome, if you don't stand now, it'll become more isolated, more restricted, and you'll be tied to a cell phone. You'll be traced everywhere you go. You'll be tracked with everything that you do. So again, you had enough? I don't think so. Still not standing up. We're still fighting over black, white, gay, straight, pronouns, he, she, it, they, them, z, whatever. When's enough? When's it going to be enough for you to finally stand up and be brave? You have to realize this will only happen when you're willing to put out the fire yourself. And it begins with your community. But still, we're not doing that, are we? And even with all this going on, what do we know? What do we know? It's funny this card comes up in that position, the consciousness. We know it's all an illusion. This again is the seven of cups. It's seven of water. It's an illusion. We know what we're seeing is not real. We know what we're being fed is all a lie. And we're still not standing up. And we're allowing them to do whatever they want to us without any repercussions, without any accountability. People say we don't want data centers. They're like, too bad, we're building it. People say we want our jobs back. Too bad, we're filling them with foreign workers. Doesn't matter what you want. Shut up and deal with it. Because we live in an illusion. We live in an illusion of happiness. There is no happiness. The only time you have happiness is when you're willing to stand up for it. The only time you have freedom when you're willing to stand up for it and take it back. But let me tell you something. Everything they've taken from you, you're not getting back. But they want to keep you in the illusion that you have it, and you don't. It's gone. Okay? And then when you think about all of that, right? Everything we just talked about here, we're going to look at the unconscious, the things that they're hiding, things that are hidden. The magician. Everything's a trick. Everything's propaganda. That's just running the subconscious mind 24/7. That's feeding the illusion. See how that worked? You have the subconscious position of the magician. This magician in this card is a real monster. He's a real son of a bitch. Media, big farm. Look at the name on the card. What do you see? Who did that? Who did what? What do they do? Right? Property. What's happening with that right now? We don't have any water issues. We're days that are doing, taking all the water away. The magician says, it's okay. It's okay, people. They feed you in your mind. And you know what? You believe the illusion because you think everything is fine. But then you refuse to fight. You want everything to be happy. You become complacent. And then you go into this hermit mindset where you're looking out for yourself. That's not going to work. Not anymore. That's got to change. If you don't change it, then guess what? God help you. Seriously. I've no more to say on that. And again, what's it going to take? Well, the mother of fire is going to take people to finally wake up and say, no more. You need to be strong. You need to be willing to move. You have to be willing to stand up for the truth. Mother of fire is the Queen of Wands energy here. It can be very reckless. And maybe it's time for us to get a little reckless. Stop being so passive. Fire is active energy. It's not water here. It's telling you that what we need to do, what we need to reflect on, is standing up, being that queen, getting out of that chair and moving forward and not take crap from anybody. It's time to really take care of ourselves and stop letting the government take care of us. Because they're not going to. They don't want to. They don't have to. So unless we come together as a community, stand up for each other, it's pretty much game over. And you know what's so sad about it is that they know it. So be impulsive. Start saying the truth. You know, I saw something too on Instagram today, and I'm going to use a swear word here, so I apologize if it offends you, but I have to say it. It was about how it's time to stop making people comfortable. If they get offended, oh well. And I kind of said, yeah, it's time to say, fuck your feelings. Your feelings don't mean anything if this thing goes south. At the end of the day, do you think these people in charge care about you or me? They don't. So again, I'll repeat it one more time. Fuck your feelings. Get on with it and get together and put your differences aside for now. If we want to complain and bitch later, we can do that when we win our nation back. But if we continue on this path of division and we don't start being a little more impulsive, it's game over. What do I mean by impulsive? Well, everything they're doing against us right now, flock cameras, everything else, that's against our privacy. That's against our Constitution. They're taking away all of our rights. Be impulsive. Go against the grain. Don't tolerate it. That's what she's telling you. It's time to stop taking it. Okay? Now, when you think about that, right? What's influencing some of this stuff going on here? The Son of Water. This would be the Knight of Cups, I believe, in this deck. And that's the influence, is like peace, love and light. Everything is great. Happiness. There's no problem. And that's what's causing all this problem, is because it's putting out our fire. It's keeping us from being impulsive to react. We're being passive. The fire demands us to be active. But yet the water is saying, the influence is saying, no. Simmer down. Everything will be okay. Everything will be okay. And that's the problem. That's what's driving this madness we're seeing in society today. People aren't angry enough. They think everything will be fine. It won't be fine because you're not willing to stop it, and they know it. And as long as you're not willing to stop it, it ain't going to end. Like also, I saw something too about YouTube, how in certain states they're forcing digital IDs on people, and people are complaining about it. Okay, well, stop using the platform. Go to Rumble, go to Odyssey, go to BitChute, go wherever. If you start using those platforms, they're going to become better and greater than YouTube, aren't they? But we won't, because we want our likes, we want our click-throughs and everything else. Are you willing to take a stand or not? Yeah, I'm on YouTube. I'm on other places also. How long am I here for? Until they force an ID, because I'm not going to do it. Hopefully you don't do it either. Okay? So then what are some of the maybe hopes or fears? Daughter of Water. This is the Page of Cups. It's like people hope things are going to be okay, and that's a problem. It's like, again, you're living in illusions. Things are not going to be okay. So they're trying to make you, the people, the elite are trying to make you, the people, to have a false sense of security, a false sense of emotional stability. That's their goal. They need you to believe that. Because as long as you believe that, then they can continue on their path with no accountability. I mean, think about it. The e-files, nothing has happened. And we're not talking about it anymore. Why? Because everything is fine. The Daughter of Water, the Page of Cups. Our focus is elsewhere. Nah, I'm not going to worry about it. I want my likes. That was yesterday. Who cares? What's going on with 90 Day Fiance? That's more important to me right now. Immature. No focus. Immature. The dreamer mindset. Through years and years of training people in schools how to not think, they become the daughter of water to a fault. Okay? To a fault. And because of all of this, the outcome is what? The full rebirth of a nation if the people don't stand. Do you really want to lose what this country is about? Are you really willing to let it go? This card says you're just going to put your head in the sand and rebirth as a baby with no responsibility. Because remember, you're going to own nothing and like it. Are you liking it? Because without bravery, you'll never have happiness. You'll live in illusion. And you have the idea that no longer exists of America. The lovers is no longer with us. And that harmony you once wanted, gone. And that, my friends, is the reading that I have for that question. So yeah, a little bit heavy, I know, but it had to be done. So here on Tarot with a Twist, just so you know, in case this is one of your first time here, you made it to the end of the video here, I don't pull punches. I read the cards for what it shows me. I read the energy as being portrayed. And so sometimes you'll look and say, well, this means it's something different in the guidebook. You're right, I don't use the guidebook. I look at what I'm seeing in the card. That's what's important. Every deck that you ever read with is different. So always study the imagery to come up with your answer. So, a little advice for you. A little somberness here as well, because it's sad, right? It's really sad to see this happening to our country. But that's all I got. And again, thank you to the member, Maria, who sent the question. I really appreciate it. And if you have a question you'd like me to read, anybody out there, go to wordswithatwist.com, sign up, be a member. It doesn't cost anything. And ask the question. Either I'm going to do a written version of it or I'll do a video of it, depending on the question, okay? That's all I got. Until next time, I want to see every one of you in my next video. All right. Good night, y'all. See ya. Bye.